Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the licensing procedures. There are no fire alarms scheduled for this evening. Therefore, if the fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the building immediately. The fire exit is located at the rear of this room. Go down the stairs and meet in the War Memorial Park. Thank you very much. Right, so we'll kick off, if we may. Apologies for absence and substitutions. I think we have an apology from Councillor Tom. No substitute, I take it. No other absentees. Declarations of interest. Anybody wish to announce any declarations of interest? No. Urgent matters. As far as I know, there are no urgent matters to be. Have you got any matters they wish to raise about the minutes? Are you all content that they be signed? Yeah, thank you very much. So down to number 5, annual update report 2021-22. Emma Coles will give us a brief breakdown, and then if anybody wishes to raise any matters, they can.
Information on the licences that we process. So I've put together this pack for you. Specifically, you asked for the saving, and give or take a little bit, it's 40,000 a year.
Thank you very much. Does anybody wish to raise any points on the various graphs which are behind this report? No, thank you very much. In that case, we'll move on to item 6, approval for adoption of the charity collection policy following consultation. So that takes us down to page 27. Where are we? So the purpose of this report is to update the members of the licensing committee of the outcome of the public consultation on the draft charity collections policy, which I think was before us on July the 4th. When we get to 2.3, we note that during the consultation period, no representations were received. So on the basis that we already discussed the report on July the 4th, is everybody content that we move on to item 7? Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 7, if we may. Amendments to the Hackney carriage and private hire licensing policy. I think the point we perhaps need to emphasize. I'm sorry, yes.
Adoption of the last policy.
Sorry?
Can you vote on the adoption of the last policy?
Of the last?
Of the charity collection policy. We just need a vote for the adoption.
Oh, right, okay. I thought we'd done that at full council, no? Okay.
No, that was your license.
Right, okay. So are we all content that we adopt the policy for for charity collection?
Yes.
Okay, agreed. Thank you very much. In that case, we move on to item 7, amendments to the Hackney carriage and private hire licensing policy. I think the point to emphasize here is that the policy itself has been discussing here is simply the 3 amendments which are being proposed by the licensing officers. So I presume the simplest way is to take each amendment one by one, as it's, if I can stick. What page are we on?
So it's the payment of electronic.
Yeah.
Electronic payments, and then the number of the.
Yes, sorry, I've lost the page it was on.
Sure, that's it.
to remove the requirement for private hire vehicles to display a front plate, moved to the more environmental friendly stick-on plates on the vehicles, and it would provide consistency across the entire.
Originally on there, I understood was for people getting this, you know, from my perspective. But I don't know whether we should look at it in other areas, especially in the cities where people are. I don't know what the answer is to that, if I'm honest with you, but I'll just raise it.
Yeah, the reason that we're happy to put this amendment on all private hire vehicles, the large door approaches the vehicle, it's got to be on the rear door or the side of the vehicle. It's much more visible as identifier. But to be honest with you, the front plate is only about.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on to amendment number 2, the portfolio to be displayed on a mount.
Company called VIP, and the VIP plates were quite decent, that they had to be mounted onto a plate which support, which we're calling a plate but isn't one, is a self-adhesive sticker.
P, one should add that all vehicles are licensed annually, so this process.
People since the pandemic simply don't carry cash any longer. And I appreciate your point area. Is there a risk that that card payment may then be declined? There's always a risk, in the same way that drivers have always run the risk of people bilking and leaving the vehicle without paying by any form, or the same way that drivers have always risked being passed counterfeit notes in what is often a very low light situation in a taxi cab at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would have sold it to them. But I feel I take your point, Councillor.
Companies now are going mandatory for all, because I have some people can't in their pocket, and I just wondered whether you have.
It's the way that's going. This isn't about stopping all payment options for our customers. If someone wants to get in and pay with.
I would agree with you, but.
Councillor Hussey.
Paragraph, there is addition, so it makes it clear it's in addition to cash. But I think the wording would be better. Rather than by inference, say that cash.
I'm fine, quite frankly,
Yes, so do I.
because there's a lot of payments, because private hire transactions are routinely done over the.
If it was explicit rather than implicit, I think that would be.
As an authority, we would be adverse to that amendment.
Councillor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. If you're a taxi driver and the hours they do, especially on the weekends, they'll be vulnerable if they've got cash only. I think this is kind of clear. Is helping that, first of all, bring it into the 21st century, the trade, but at the same time, they're going to give them the opportunity to use these just because of their safety. Thank you.
No, I can safely say that we do view drivers, yes, I mean, we've been very fortunate here that we haven't, I think in the time that I've been in the post here, I think we've only had, and reducing the amount of cash carried in a vehicle has to be a good thing.
Comment. I'm content about card payments. I just wouldn't want to see printers being mandatory.
In my view, is a good idea, but it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory on the requirement here. The bit that they must be able to do is give a receipt, and the facility for that exists. Yeah.
Everybody happy for us to accept the amendment? Sorry.
I just wanted to make a comment that many of the drivers now, they will text sort of a link and you just click on it and it gives you the receipt. So I think receipts will probably not, paper receipts won't be as needed down the line.
Thank you very much. Are we happy to accept that amendment?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on if we give an update on the item scheduled at the meeting. Thank you.
Programme coming up in February